This video will explore the overall ins and outs of the content tool within the VLE. To begin, go up to the nav bar and click on the content icon. This next page, think of this like your blank canvas. Along the right is going to be the viewing window. So as you put documents and PowerPoints and things like that, they will show up here. And along the left here, this is like your filing cabinet. This is where all of your folders and subfolders will go and how you're going to actually organize all of your content and handouts and all that. To begin with, it's important to note that this is meant to make teachers' lives easier. So if you're using this in a blended learning model, this is not something you have to have ready to go on day one with all your folders and all the content in there. What I would do is, as you teach day to day, you add in the resources, the handouts, the lessons and PowerPoints that you do, and just add them every night or every week. And the advantage to it is that way students have direct access to all of that content. So if you have a student away sick for a few days, you can tell them that they could go on at home, or that they can access it at any time to kind of catch up. Or if a student loses a handout, again, same thing. It kind of goes back onto the student to be able to go over and access it this way as just one more available resource. So to begin, I'm going to speak specifically to secondary teachers, and elementary I'll get back just because the workflow is slightly different between the two. So along the left here, let's say this was a grade 9 English class. What we would generally do is our top folder is going to be the units of that course. So I might have 4 or 5 top level folders for the 4 or 5 different units I have in my grade 9 English class. So my first unit, let's say, click there. Let's assume that unit 1 is a short story unit where I go over key literacy skills and short story elements and all that. Short stories, I press save. Okay, and at that point, it's going to produce that top level folder. Now, I will note you are able to go over here to the ellipsis, click here, and actually edit and actually put things on the top of the folder. We strongly advise you do not do that. The problem is, anyone who's using the Pulse apps, if you have any students going in on their phone, they will not be able to see the content you put in this area. Instead, you want all content to be in the folder, essentially not on it. Okay, so we have short story unit 1, and let's assume that we're working with short story elements is our first thing that we want to go to. So we really want, instead of just throwing all those files here, we want to create a subfolder to keep things even more organized. So we click on this main folder, we go over to create new, and we're going to go to new lesson. Now, don't let that confuse you. This does not have to just be a single 1-day lesson or 2-day lesson. You really could think of this as new topic, new large concept that you're going to go after. It really is just creating a subfolder. Click it. Let's again say it's short story elements. Press save, and there we have our subfolder that fits within this one. Now, assume that we are doing our first short story, The Lottery. Okay, same thing. We can have all of our short story element handouts and print-offs here, but to get even more organized, we can do one more folder that actually is based on the different short stories or concepts that we do. So I'm going to click, instead of clicking here, I'm going to click on this subfolder because I want to make one that actually fits under this one. Go to create new, and you'll notice it no longer says lesson, it just says folder. That's because it's going to create a second subfolder. So The Lottery, save, and there we go. Now a student, when they're going into unit 1, they kind of expand it. They can go, oh, I'm in short story elements. I know that's where we are. And then here are all the different stories. Or I might have, a different competency where it might actually be based on theme, theme analysis. Press save, and there's my 2 different, we're doing some work on this short story. We're doing some work on this analysis. You can right-click and hold and actually move them if you want to change the orders or change them around. But this way it keeps things really nice and organized. Now let's say we're adding to something on the lottery. Okay, so I'm going to move this back up. I want to add an actual handout now. It's finally time. We've created our folders. It's time to put our first handout in that students can see. Go over to, instead, add existing. Click there. Okay, and then if I'm trying to pull in a handout that I've already created that's on my computer that I would normally print out for students, I go to Browse. Okay, and we're just going to look for, there's my descriptive writing handout, let's say, click there. It's going to upload it. It takes a minute or so for it to upload because it does make it so it's fully viewable to the student. But notice that it's now showing as an actual file. I can do other things too. So if I'm in lottery and I've created an assignment for the lottery that's already in this assignments folder, I can go to add existing. I'm going to add an existing assignment and be able to click on it right from there and pull it in if I had an assignment already made. Same thing with discussion, quizzes, all of that. So you really can bring in a wide variety of things and kind of house them all here. So there's my handout. If at any time you have a student with a smaller screen and they're saying, oh, it's really hard to see because there's just so much around it, they just have to go up to this expand window, press it, and at that point they're able to see it as full screen. Okay. Now, just to note, if you do put it in a PowerPoint, it will convert the PowerPoint over to a PDF, but that's fully viewable. Now for elementary teachers, slightly different just in how the folders work. So when you go to New Unit, don't think of it like a unit, think of it like a subject area. So I might say Language Arts, click there. So Language Arts is actually my topic. Okay, then I click on it, go to Create New, and it's really not a lesson. It's actually, I want this to be a unit within my Language Arts piece. So I have no idea. I am a secondary teacher, so I have no idea what a specific unit is in Language Arts, but let's say spelling. I'm sure that's not one, but that's okay. So spelling, okay, so that's my specific unit within Language Arts. And same thing, at that point, then I can go to Create New, create that third subfolder, and maybe it's on specifically learning how to spell certain nouns, and you can fit things within that. So it's slightly different. That top folder isn't a unit, it's actually a subject area, and then the second folder is your units within that subject area. That's generally the best workflow in order to do that. Thanks for watching.